My name is Dr. Shahid. I'm a pediatrician and medical educator. And in this video series, we've been talking about preventing burnout and how to develop resilience for doctors and medical students. In today's video, we're going to be talking about different self-care strategies, and we're going to focus on strategies related to relaxation techniques. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is how I have my overview of wellness and burnout. This is how I see it in this diagram, where wellness and burnout are on opposite ends of the spectrum. And in order to help prevent burnout, if we can do things that promote wellness, that will reduce the risk of burnout. And those things can include developing resilience and doing resilience strategies and addressing wellness dimensions, and also self-care strategies and then organizational strategies. And in this video, we're going to be focusing on some self-care strategies. So this is the area that we're going to be talking about in today's video. And specifically, we're going to be talking about certain aspects of self-care. So in other videos, and not in this one, we're going to be talking about nutrition and sleep and exercise. And in another video, I'm going to focus on meditation, mindfulness, faith, and spirituality. But today, we're going to be talking about relaxation techniques, such as deep breathing and daily release and nature and the importance of hobbies. So we're going to be talking about these areas in this video today. I want to start with this quote. I've shown this quote in other videos as well, but this is from 1927, in which the author writes, "The secret of the care of the patient is caring for the patient." But then in 1995, somebody modified the quote a little bit. And I think it's very important to understand the message that the new quote and the modification is trying to make. So in 1995, this author, she changed the quote and said, "The secret of the care of the patient is caring for oneself while caring for the patient." So I think this is a very important aspect that we have to talk about. This is related to self-care. So back in 1995, she focused on the fact that we have to care for ourselves as healthcare providers, as physicians, as people who take care of our patients, that if we want to be effective in caring for our patients, we have to take care of ourselves first. And that is the importance of self-care. So this was a quote from 1995, and here we are about 25 years later, still trying to talk about and understand self-care and the importance of self-care. So let's talk a little bit about different aspects of self-care. So first of all, we have to recognize that self-care is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of personal strength, commitment, and success. So unfortunately, the culture of medicine is one that you just kind of have to power your way through the day and muscle your way through medical school and residency and training and your day-to-day tasks. And that culture where we're just pushing ourselves and not taking care of ourselves can really have a detrimental effect on us and can lead to depression and increased rates of burnout. So we have to be very, very aware of that. And again, we shouldn't ever feel like, you know, I'm the only one that's struggling with this issue and I'm the only one with this problem. We have to openly talk about it. And self-care is such an important aspect of providing good care for our patients, but also taking care of ourselves so we can provide effective care for our patients. So again, self-care is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. We have to make sure we are taking care of ourselves if we're going to take care of our patients. Okay, so there's different relaxation techniques I want to talk about. So this one I want to focus on what to do before you start anything that is going to be stressful or challenging, right? So you know you have to do something and you're anticipating that it's going to be a challenge and it's going to be a stressful encounter, let's say with a patient, right? So what are some things that you can do to help you prepare for that and help you relax before you have that encounter? So there's some things that you can think about doing. So some suggestions can be that you prepare for what might occur during the encounter. And maybe you kind of develop a script of how you may respond. So you think about what you're going to say in advance, and then you kind of anticipate what the response of the other person might be, and how are you going to respond to what they are saying then, and kind of go through that in your mind and almost make a script and practice it, and just kind of think about what you're going to say in advance and prepare for that encounter, and then anticipate what they might say, and then what your response might be in that situation. Other things you can do before going into a stressful and challenging situation is kind of take a pause and kind of ground yourself and center yourself before you begin. Just kind of go, before you begin, just kind of pause, think about what's about to happen. Maybe take a deep breath before you start. Maybe you do a little brief few second meditation, or you say a brief prayer. And then you think about something positive that, this, you're ready for this, you got this, it's going to be okay. And you just kind of ground yourself and center yourself before you go into a challenging or stressful situation. So I kind of use some of these strategies in some of my own patient encounters. So for example, in pediatrics, we will deal with kids that come in with some sort of injury. And sometimes it's hard to know if that injury was accidental or if that injury might have been non-accidental and some sort of non-accidental trauma or abuse or some intentional, type of trauma that was inflicted on the child. And when we're not sure, then we might get child and protection services involved to help investigate the situation to help us determine whether this is an accidental injury or a non-accidental injury. And these type of interactions with families can be very, very stressful when you have reported them to child protection services for an investigation. So I know when I have to go in and talk about that to a family, I use some of these techniques. I anticipate it's going to be stressful, and then I think about what I'm going to say, how I'm going to start the conversation, what I'm going to say, and then I kind of think about what the response might be and how I might be responding to what they are saying back to me. So kind of going through a script in my mind of what might happen in that interaction. Now sometimes it doesn't go that way, which is okay, but it can really reduce anxiety when you kind of think about what you're going to say and you kind of prepare in advance. And then before I go in, I definitely take a pause. I kind of ground myself. I center myself. Kind of take a deep breath. Tell myself it's going to be okay. Maybe even say a little prayer of, oh, I hope it's gonna go well. And you do what you can before to anticipate that stressful encounter and kind of prepare for that. And then you go in and start the interaction. So I found this very helpful when I'm about to have this type of interaction with this type of a patient or family then. So, okay, so how about some relaxation techniques you might use during this stressful encounter and emotionally charged discussion that you might be having. In that scenario that I gave, a lot of times when you go in, the family's very upset that you reported them to child protection services, and you're basically accusing them of inflicting the injury, right? And they kind of say to you that you basically are accusing me of hurting my child, right? So it's a very stressful encounter. They might be threatening to call their lawyer, so it's going to be stressful. And during that encounter, you can see that they are very upset and kind of blaming you for accusing them of what they might have done to their child, and such. So some techniques that can be helpful during that encounter are really, in my mind, based on emotional intelligence skills. So emotional intelligence is really being able to understand and recognize your emotions, and being aware of how you are feeling. So you have to remain mindful and present, engaged, and composed during that interaction. And that requires a lot of self-management and self-control, which is, again, is an emotional intelligence skill. So really recognizing your emotions and how you're feeling in that situation, but then staying composed, and having self-control, and then recognizing your reaction to that situation. That's all part of emotional intelligence that can be very important when you are going through a very stressful encounter. And again, you should always maintain control. You should always stay composed. You should always recognize that you might be getting upset or frustrated, but make sure that you recognize that reaction and then react in a way that doesn't exacerbate the situation or make it worse in any way. So always be in control of your emotions and what you are saying and how you are interacting with that family during that type of discussion. And sometimes you may need to find a way to step away from the situation to kind of compose yourself, right? Because they're yelling at you or they're upset or whatever they might be, and you might have to say, you know what, I'm just going to step out for a moment, and then when you calm down, I'll be back and we can continue the discussion. Or you just say, okay, you know what, I just need to step away, and I'll be right back. And you excuse yourself and find a way to excuse yourself so you can kind of regain composure, and then go back in and continue the conversation if that is needed. So these emotional intelligence techniques, I think, are very helpful during these type of stressful situations. And I try to use these when I'm having my discussions with these families where child protective services might be involved, and there might be a very difficult encounter with the family. So how about after you have a very difficult encounter and stressful encounter, a challenging encounter? How do you try to relax afterwards then, right? So sometimes things that can help is after you have this encounter, first of all, you have to recognize that that was very stressful, right? And that you went through a very difficult and challenging situation. So you step out and you're done with it and you just kind of take a deep breath and relaxed, that you got through it, it went okay. You might need to, go to the bathroom and kind of splash some water on your face just to kind of relax a little bit. You might need to go to a quiet room just to kind of decompress a little bit, and just kind of regain your composure. You might want to take a walk outside and get some fresh air, or go to a window and look outside and look at the sunlight. But you need to make sure that you really decompress and that you gather your thoughts and you regain composure. So sometimes these stressful situations can really take a lot out of you, and can really drain you and really suck the energy out of you. So you need to recognize that, and then you need to be able to regain composure and decompress afterwards. And you might use other relaxation techniques as well when you have time, either immediately afterwards or later in the day when you go home, where you might do other techniques of some yoga or some meditation, or listening to music, or using nature to help you relax, or exercising, or whatever it might be that is effective for you. That it's going to be important for you to take advantage of those type of relaxation techniques after a stressful day, after a stressful situation, after a stressful encounter. You might want to talk to a friend. You might want to talk to a colleague. You might want to kind of debrief about a situation that might have happened. And you might want to just, again, talk to a family member or a friend or a colleague and say, you know what, I don't want to talk about the situation, but let's just talk about something else. So that can help you get distracted, and you can talk about something else, and they can make you laugh, and they can make you feel better about things. And that can really help you kind of relax from that type of stressful situation. So I think it's very important to keep these type of techniques in mind when you go through a stressful situation and stressful encounter with a patient or anything else that you might be encountering then. Other relaxation techniques, and I've referred to this, can be like deep breathing. So we know that anxiety can really cause rapid and shallow breathing. So one technique is learning to take deep, slow breaths, and that can really calm your body. So it's recommended that you kind of inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4 seconds, and then you kind of hold your breath for a count of 4 seconds, and then you slowly exhale through your mouth for a count of 4 seconds. So this can really help you relax and calm down and decrease anxiety. So this can be a very effective technique related to deep breathing after a stressful situation, or even before a stressful situation, using this to help to reduce that anxiety and help you relax a little bit then. Other techniques that can help you relax include something called progressive muscle relaxation. So we know that stress and anxiety causes you to tense up, causes your muscles to really tighten up and tense up. So by progressively tightening and then relaxing each muscle group in your body, that can really help control this tension and release some of this tension and this tenseness that you might have in your muscles. So it's recommended that you tense each muscle group for about 5 to 7 seconds, and then you relax that muscle group for 20 to 30 seconds. That can really release the tension on your muscles, which can have a real calming and soothing effect. So this is another technique that can be used for relaxation, this progressive muscle relaxation strategy. Another technique that can be helpful for relaxation is guided imagery. So basically, this is where you close your eyes and you visualize some imagery, some picture that helps you feel calm and relaxed, right? And that might be that you're visualizing yourself, that you're sitting on the beach, or that you're seeing the ocean and the waves and the calm waves and the sounds of the waves, or that you're at a park and you're with nature, or there's a waterfall that you're visualizing, right? So whatever it is, you have to decide what works for you. Think of something that relaxes you, whatever it is, something with nature, or some sort of hobby, or maybe it's being with a friend or a loved one, and you're imagining that you're in their company, right? So whatever it is, you kind of close your eyes and you visualize you're in that environment, in that scenario, and then you really evoke all of your senses, and you visualize through this guided imagery what are you seeing, what are you hearing, what are you tasting, what are you touching, what are you smelling, right? And that can really help you relax and reduce anxiety and reduce that stress level. So this guided imagery can be a very effective relaxation technique as well then. Other relaxation techniques that are recommended. So there's something called self-soothe with five senses. So there's different ways of doing this. Basically the idea is using all five of your senses to kind of soothe yourself and to relax. And we kind of alluded to that with the guided imagery example. But basically another example, and these are just examples, and you can think about things that might be more effective for you. So these are just suggestions, but basically you just want to think about ways to use all five senses to help you relax a little bit. So here's some other examples. So when it comes to sight, so you maybe look at pictures of loved ones or your pet or some other pictures that help you relax, whatever that might be. You watch a sunrise or a sunset, you observe nature, you look at flowers. So whatever it is, you use the sense of sight to help you relax, and you decide what it is that's going to be effective for you, and you use that. When it comes to hearing, maybe you listen to some music, you listen to a podcast or an audiobook, or you listen to the sounds of nature or the sounds of the city, or sounds of like soothing rain or waves or whatever it might be. And again, there, maybe you're not physically in a place that can help you hear sounds of waves, right? But you can find that through different apps or online. You can find pictures that are soothing or sounds that are soothing. So you could be doing that in your office or in your clinic because maybe you can't get away and do that because you're not near an ocean and things like that. But you can use technology and apps and online type of strategies to see things like that and to hear things like that. Smell. Maybe you can open a window and get some fresh air. You can use some different scented hand lotions, like with lavender or something else like that, or smelling a candle or some spices or some oils. The smell of coffee or tea or the smell of baking, whatever it might be, that can be very soothing as well. Taste. Maybe having some tea or some ginger tea. Maybe something with lemon and eating a lemon. Or sucking on a lemon, some strong mints, or sucking on some hard candy, something to evoke your taste and get you to relax that way. Touch, taking a long shower or a long bath, snuggling with a pet, a dog or a cat, wearing some soft slippers, wrapping yourself in a soft blanket or some soft pajamas, whatever it might be. So again, using the five senses to soothe yourself and to relax. And again, you decide what's going to work for you and identify those things so that when you are stressed and you come home from a difficult day, you can use these self-soothing techniques with the five senses to help you relax. So this can be a very effective way to help you relax as well. There's another relaxation. The mnemonic is TIPP, T-I-P-P. T stands for temperature change. I stands for intense exercise. P, the one P stands for paced breathing, and the other P stands for paired muscle relaxation. So temperature change. So we've talked about some of these things already, right? So splash some water on your face, so maybe some cold water, or take a hot shower, and that can be very soothing and relaxing. Intense exercise, so a brief, short burst of exercise, right? Doing some jumping jacks, running in your spot, or going up and down the stairs. That can help you relax and relieve stress and anxiety as well. Paced breathing. Again, we talked about deep breathing, about breathing in for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, and exhaling for 4 seconds. Other ways you can do it is you could breathe in for 5 seconds and then breathe out for 7 seconds, or basically try to exhale for as long as you can. So the idea is just to have some slow, deep, paced breathing, and that can help you relax and reduce anxiety and stress as well. We talked about progressive muscle relaxation, or you can do paired muscle relaxation here. Again, the same idea is tensing your muscles and relaxing your muscles, but this is based on your breathing pattern. So you tense some muscles as you inhale, and then on exhalation you release and you relax those muscle groups. So this also can be a very effective relaxation technique to help reduce anxiety, to reduce stress, to decompress. So this can be very effective as well then. Okay, I think another important strategy is a daily release, right? So basically, you need to learn to release stress at the end of the day, right? So every day you come up with some sort of routine that you're going to do that's going to help you relax at the end of the day, right? So you learn to relax, to release that stress at the end of the day. You learn to relax, and you learn to decompress, and you learn to let go. And it's different for everyone. So you have to identify what is it going to be for you that's going to be effective and helpful. So I think that's very important then. sorry, and then some of those things can be examples can be exercising or meditation or yoga or journaling or music or dance or sports or a hobby, whatever it is. You have to decide what is it that's going to work for you. And I think when you have something to look forward to every day, that you know after you get home, this is what you're going to do, and it helps you relax, and you have something to look forward to, that can help you start to relax, knowing you have something to look forward to at the end of the day as well. When you have this daily release and a daily routine that you have set up then. So again, it's all about making a specific routine that releases stress at the end of the day. So maybe you start by when you leave and you're driving home, or you're taking the train home, or whatever it is. Maybe you listen to a particular song every evening on your way home, and that helps you relax and helps you release that stress then. And then maybe you go home, and you change out of your work clothes, right? And you change into your relaxing home clothes, right? And that can be very symbolic, right? You change your clothes, you take off your work clothes, and you get into something more comfortable, and that's your relaxing clothes. So you leave everything behind you, right? Once you change your clothes, whatever happened at work, whatever stresses you had, you kind of let it go and you release it. So that can be very helpful to reduce stress and anxiety, and to release everything, and to leave it at the door, and to leave your stresses and not bring them home with you, with your to your family. And so these techniques can be very helpful. Other things that you might want to do is, take a walk in nature every evening, and that could be part of your daily release. Or maybe you enjoy doing things like playing with your kids, or playing with your pets, or playing some sport, or maybe watching a sport, or maybe doing a hobby, and every evening you do something related to that hobby, or maybe it's just watching television, whatever it might be. It can be very, very helpful. So I do think it's very helpful to have this daily release. So for example, for me, I like to, when I get home, the first thing I do is change out of my work clothes and get into something comfortable for my home clothing, right? And then I wear contact lenses, and as soon as I get home, first thing I do is take out my contact lenses, and I put on my glasses, and all of that is just my way of just kind of releasing the stress of the day and leaving it behind, and starting kind of a new time of the day, a new part of the day, by being at home, my family, and changing my clothes and taking out my contact lenses, putting on my glasses, can be very helpful. And then usually then we all sit down together and we have dinner. So that's kind of my routine. And then after dinner, then maybe do other things that can help me release stress as well then. So having a routine can be very, very helpful. And the part of that daily release to kind of let go of things and leave things behind, and not bring that stress and those feelings with you when you get home as well. So trying to separate that out can be very, very helpful in maintaining wellness and preventing burnout, and allowing you to relax and decompress once you get home. So another relaxation technique is related to nature. And we know that studies have shown that nature and interacting with nature can really decrease the level of stress hormones such as cortisol. Interacting with nature and being around nature can lower blood pressure and heart rate. It can improve immune function. It can have a very positive effect on your energy level and on your focus. And again, positively affect anxiety level and depression issues. So being with nature and being around nature can have a very positive effect on your physical health and on your mental health as well then. So it's very important, and this could be a very important relaxation technique that you might engage in. So again, being with nature, and it could be that you are actually in nature, or maybe you don't have an opportunity to be in nature because of the weather or because of where you live, right? So even viewing pictures of nature can have a positive effect as well. So if you can't actually go out in nature, viewing pictures of nature or listening to sounds of nature can really make a difference then. Again, there's different apps that you could use that will help with sounds of nature that can help you relax as well if you're not able to physically get out into nature. So just trying to interact with nature in different ways can help you really relax. So again, there's lots of different ways you can do that. These are just some examples, some suggestions, and you have to find what works for you, right? So it might be walking or jogging or hiking, right? It might be camping or fishing, and this isn't necessarily that you have to do this every single day as part of your daily release, and it could be part of your daily release, but it could be that you just set aside time, once a week on a weekend or once a month, or you go on vacation, every couple of months, and you do something in nature, right? So, but just using nature in different ways. So maybe you go on a camping trip or a fishing trip, or maybe one of your hobbies is gardening, or maybe you visit a botanical garden, or you go to the mountains, or you go to a national park, or you observe wildlife. You go to forest preserve and you listen to the flowing river in that forest preserve, or you go to the beach or the ocean, or observe a waterfall and listen to a waterfall, or maybe at nighttime it's just kind of stargazing and looking out into the stars. And it could be sunlight, right? So going to a window and then looking at the sunlight, right? Or actually sitting and watching a beautiful sunrise or a sunset. And it could be interacting with the seasons or thinking about the seasons in different ways. So all of these can be very, very relaxing and can have a positive effect on our wellness and our stress and anxiety levels then. So I think this is very important. So just a comment like seasons and stargazing. So seasons, seasons can kind of remind us of the cycle of life then, right? So we have winter right now as this video is being made. It's the middle of winter, right? But then we know that there's going to be spring coming up, right? And right now, all the trees are without leaves and everything's kind of dead. But when spring comes around, things start to bloom and things start to blossom. Flowers and the grass and the trees. And so when it's all quiet and in wintertime, we know that spring is going to come, and we can think about that for ourselves, right? So if we're having, if we feel down for some reason, that's kind of a winter time in our personal life, if you will, emotionally, then we look forward that the spring is going to come and things are going to get better, and that we have a positive outlook and we're optimistic, and we remind ourselves of that through the seasons then. And then again, thinking about nature, thinking about seasons, thinking about looking at the stars, that can remind us that we are part of something bigger, that can add meaning and purpose to us, to our life as well, and that's a resilience strategy that we can take advantage of as well. And we know the seasons have an effect on our mood, right? Seasonal affective disorder, right? Where people after winter and when the days are short and it's cold, and the winters are long, we start to feel down a little bit, and people can have seasonal affective disorder where you can have depressive type of symptoms through the winter and the long nights and the short days, right? Where you wake up and it's dark and you're inside the whole day and you never see the sunlight, and then when you come home after work it's dark, and this is going on for weeks at a time, and that can have an effect on our mood as well then. So keeping that in mind, and again taking a moment to look outside and see the sun and try to take advantage of the daytime in different ways, and interacting with nature can be a very important part of our relaxation techniques. It can really add to our resilience and our wellness, and to help prevent burnout then. Okay, so last portion I want to talk about is related to hobbies. So again, it's important to pick up different hobbies, and for everyone it's going to be different. But the idea basically is to find something that you like, find something that helps you relax, find something that you enjoy doing, right? And then do that, because that gets your mind off of different things related to work or other stressful situations, and you're distracted and you're focused on something else. So it's very important to have a hobby and to do something outside of work. That can be very relaxing and can reduce your stress and anxiety level as well. And again, for everyone, it's different. So it's important to find something that works for you. So again, it might be, sports or outdoor activities, right? I mentioned some of the outdoor activities with nature already, or it might be sports where you participate in sports, or you play sports, or maybe just kind of watch sports, whatever it is. It can be very, very relaxing, right? Those outdoor activities you're talking about, where you're hiking or you're walking or you're rock climbing or you're surfing or whatever it might be, right? Picking up some sort of hobby like that can be very, very helpful. It could be biking, or it could be something else like photography or gardening or arts and crafts or painting or collecting things or games, right? Video games or board games or, billiards or bowling or whatever it might be, right? Or maybe you like food and you want to taste different types of food, and you go out and try different types of food, or you like to cook, and you pick that up as a hobby, or playing music or listening to music or reading, or volunteering somewhere, right? Volunteering in a community organization or in your faith-based organization, and helping others, right? So that could be a hobby as well. So the idea is just to find something that can help you relax and to get away from the different stresses that you might be having then, right? So it might be a hobby that you're already doing and you continue to do it, or you pick up a new hobby and you learn about that, and that can be very relaxing, and helpful as well to reduce stress and anxiety. I came across this. I think this is a nice list of different hobbies that people might want to do. So you can check this out, and it has lots of different ideas. There's other ideas as well, but if you're thinking about ideas for hobbies, this is maybe some other examples that we haven't talked about. But again, finding something can be very, very helpful and useful then to help you relax. Okay, so to summarize again, so this is the overview, wellness and burnout prevention that we've been talking about. And again, we've been focused on self-care strategies. And this one, the particular video, we talk about different relaxation strategies, like deep breathing and daily release and nature and hobbies. So that was our focus today. In other videos, we're going to talk about other self-care strategies related to nutrition, sleep, and exercise. And then a separate video, I'm going to focus on meditation, mindfulness, and then faith and spirituality. So please join us for those videos as well. So I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully it was helpful. And these relaxation techniques as part of self-care strategies hopefully are beneficial that you can use in the future.